Всем привет! Мы продолжаем играть в Шерлока Холмса. У нас прогулка в лунном свете. Да, не знаю, что это обозначает, но сейчас наверняка мы все узнаем.
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have. Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes is my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
And forget about the dinner. Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Так, нам сначала-то что? Сначала, наверное, вот сюда лучше съездить. Все-таки посмотреть, чтобы было что спрашивать. Ну и продавить, если что-то пропустили. Да, ты что, красных фонарей, что ли? Это? Где Джек-потрошитель тут орудовал? Вот тут они лежат. Ясно.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The 2 men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweler by trade.
Да, и какой-то бродяга их застрелил. Ну, прям.
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were 2 other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Он, может, бежал от выстрелов, а не потому что...
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course.
Прикол, особенно с месяцем ошибся.
Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Фигню какую-то наговорил. Он бежал, я стоял.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance. This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
Ну, конечно же, мы сами найдем эту дверь. Не переживайте. Тут все, да?
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look.
Давай рассмотрим его. Похож на трость или кий.
This shard of wood is quite new.
Наша будет. Ну просто рассуждает, что парень побежал, потому что
He
выстрелил.
tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant.
Как бы глупо, ну, на мой взгляд. Потому что он же мог бежать от выстрелов.
The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound. A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there.
Тем более в тюрьме был.
Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to
Но
die.
тем не менее остался здесь. Ужасно страдал, но не побежал за помощью. Или он страдал немного, но ужасно. Ой, не на те кнопочки жму. Выглядываю, так жалко его. Конечно, тогда никто
Good
не...
evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective, gentleman? I've heard of you. And, well, I know things. Things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard two gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw two bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Угу.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Вроде другую улицу назвал.
Were the two shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the half-moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
Почему, интересно, констебля не осматривали? Давай, он старый, нет? О, даже ничего нет на лице? Ой. Да, орден. Где тут орден? Угу. Орден-то, конечно, нацепил. Обязательно. Ну, то есть, ну, блин, он же не спит в нем. Я вот в этом плане. Не то, чтобы я как-то... Ну... Это вообще стандартное явление.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Угу. Спасибо большое. Угу. Я так даже не обратила внимания на это. Так, у нас... Что, может, с констеблем поговорить? А ты что-то ты брешешь, а?
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your
Ты
investigation, Mr.
свидетель,
Holmes.
иди в жопу помогай.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
А вот он, может, стоял вот здесь, вот этот парень, которого арестовали, и бах-бах-бах. Конечно, он тут такой... побегу-ка я вот туда вот. Ну, наверняка это вот эта улица. И тут ее ловят. Все было именно так. Ну, давайте в Скотланд-Ярд поедем. Кого-то, кажется, затекло. Место одно.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Обыскать будем этот кабинет. Надо было поглядывать раньше, может у него разные какие-нибудь штучки тут нарисованы всегда.
A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
Ну, конечно,
So
медленно.
this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon.
Медленно подходили к самому интересному.
It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
Он, получается, 2 стрелянных.
Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Ладно, еще не все, значит. Ой, ну нет. Ну, там, может, один в другого выстрелил. Вообще не может друг друга выстрелили. Просто кое-кто не искал ничего. Ой, если этот. Ладно. Так. Пойдемте его допросим, что ли. Сидит там.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Купец, в смысле, брат купец или...
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
Чего не поняла, но очень интересно. Ну. Можно вот так было сделать, чтобы там Не на самый краешек. Глазика наводить. Ну. Типа шарф изящный. Клерк. Угу.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting.
Да, мне тоже
Pray,
интересно.
continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Что там на входе рисуют каждому? И они не обязательно же все должны там быть прям знакомы. Вряд ли там тюрьма из 30 человек.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen £1 of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Угу. Так. Ну да, мне бы тоже смутило, если бы так разнились показания. Один стоял, ждал, а второй не видел ни свет, ничего.
Mr. Holmes, what is the trouble with that lad? Isn't he guilty of murder?
Ты ж усатый. Блин. С этими усами так они реально похожи. Я отлично путаю, кто передо мной. Ну, пока говорить не начнет. А где мужчина в полосатом? Тут вот это... Опять, кстати, куриц стоит. В какой-то части что за... А, он... Ясно, я думала, это баг какой-то. На Бейкер. Сейчас, наверное, анализы надо проводить всякие штуки. Или искать. Хотя в архиве-то нечего искать. Наверное, деревягу сейчас будем анализировать. Предполагаю. Так. Ну, посмотрим. Сейчас, давайте. Спросить. А, ну у этих вот, знаете. У нас последняя. Это что? Ну, наверное, убийца будет. И все. Возможно. Это, кстати, последнее расследование этой игры. Если тут, конечно, каких-нибудь, ну, типа пасхалок нет. Я погуглила. Оно последнее, да. Так, ну, осмотрите место преступления. А что, я не все осмотрела? Надо, может, было по той стороне еще пройтись. Ну, то есть туда вот за угол. Ладно, так. Угу. Короче, надо, значит, вернуться. Мне анализировать-то нечего. Деревяшку там нет. Ничего не надо. Письмо. Сенсация. Экзотический способ убийства. Арсенал преступников вскоре может пополниться ядовитыми растениями. Молодая красивая женщина вместе с коллегой из Kew Gardens организовала ужасное убийство директора мистера Монтегюдана. Лишь один детектив сумел раскрыть правду о трагедии, которую изначально посчитали несчастным случаем от сердечного приступа. Имя детектива Шерлок Холмс. Так, ну это ладно, документов нет. Чё, подскочила? Поехали где-то, да. А туда далеко уйдем? До пьяницы поди. Угу. Туда тоже можно за полоску, только за кэп бы.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Этот нехороший человек его прогнал. Это база, блин. Я думаю, тот первый. Хотя нет, неправильно. Да, и что, он в голову попал? А нет. Так. Куда? Я что-то не понимала, надо эти стены, что ли, идти осматривать. Так не видно ж ни черта. А,
I am unable to see any higher. I
Всё,
need to
я
find
вижу.
something to lift my lamp.
Ватсон он при этот. Ну-ка. Багор.
This should be useful. This is most definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Блин, я пока думаю, что он... Ладно. А надо посмотреть во второй стене. Может быть, там есть тоже дырень. Подожди. Так. А, все? Ну, блин. А тут-то нету дыры. Тут... То есть я... Ну, вообще, первым должен был стрелять этот, который сидел. Вот этот Брайан. Потому что, ну... Ой, нет, вот этот вот, Кеннет, господи, да. Он попал, допустим, ему в пузо и в стену, а тот выстрелил и прям в голову. Удачно. Так, ладно. Так ведь... А, ну да, все. Ой, короче, ближе будем к развязке. Так. Ай, да, мы же не поговорили еще с этой миссис Полли.
Mrs. Powell?
Пау.
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Я говорю, что про нее совсем забыла. Это чё? Это мне что ли квартал можно обойти? Ага, конечно. Спросить. А, ну да, этого еще мужичка. Мистера Тюрьмера. Что, двери-то можно открыть какие-нибудь?
Locked.
Ну, конечно.
Locked.
Чего все двери-то закрываете? Эй. Как будто бы меня не ждете.
Locked. Locked.
Ну ладно. Ну-ка, что тут?
This mirror is turned towards Half Moon Street.
Ага. Вот она, может, вспышка-то была, которая ослепила парнишку.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Ну, по тем меркам, может быть, он прям скромненько живет. Ну, сейчас так это, конечно, холопа. Ого.
So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window.
Вряд ли на по пояс высунулся, прям и смотрел.
The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
This kitchen knife is quite sharp.
Ну, нож должен быть острый, как? Ладно. Чего? Где тут?
There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
Так, камин.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago.
И чё, может, он погрел не так давно? Прогрел, скажем так, квартирку свою. Дом стал остывать, и он еще раз зажег.
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here.
Я смогу.
The paper...
Ладно, я шучу.
The paper...
Ну так а что тогда ты ее не бросаешь-то? А, ну, наверное, вот.
These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Ну-ка, где ты там? Чё, глаза-то у него горят от пламени.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Вообще-то да. Ну так-то у него тут чистенько. Ну, достаточно, наверное. Раз уж позвал, я у тебя тут покопошусь везде. Прости.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims. The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here, a short while ago.
То, что сгорело. Наверняка. Кто спал в этой постельке?
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Ого, сколько их тут. Так, значит... Увидел? Взял нож. А нет. Увидел. Этот. Бросил. Блин, сброс. Стул дурацкий. Так, сначала встал, да? Открыл окно. Увидел. Или подошел к трупу. Давайте подошел. Зажег. Сломал.
No, it didn't happen this way.
Может быть, он не этот. Может быть, он сначала. Ну, в любом случае, сначала он проснулся. Возможно, он потом... Нет, я думаю, он кинул эту вообще прям в конце. Открыл, подошел. Так. Ну, поставил, что забрал. Потом кинул. Да. Давай быстрее.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find? I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let us take a closer look.
Моби Дик.
Well now, what a find! A precious jewel concealed inside a book. A bracelet with a unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Так. Ой. У меня кошка лежит головой на жопе другой кошки. Типа как подушка. Так смешно, никогда в жизни так не лежали. Ну, никогда в их жизни. Так, наверное, надо спросить у нее по поводу, какого черта у нее делать браслет в книге. Ну-ка, ты все видел, я нашел.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated.
Well, I'm able to move very quickly despite my age, and when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
Нет, может про хромоту?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly despite my age, and when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something, but it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Он не видел, что мы нашли в него браслет?
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Ну, лучше так, чем заключение-то, конечно. Ага, ну, так. Пойдемте в спальню посмотрим. Такой свет у него тут. Там поди вывеска какая-нибудь. Ну хотя неоновые вывески-то тогда еще. Не знаю, что за свет там такой. Вряд ли это луна так светит. Слишком.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Сейчас будем прятаться. Ну круто, чё? Ну, типа он так и шел.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
А если я пройду мимо него? Тут, наверное, надо... Суть в том, что тут нет вот этих мест, где бы он мог спрятаться.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find
другой
another
стороны
place
сядешь.
to hide.
Где ты, Шерлок? Шерлок Холмс, выходи.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp
Ну
while
да.
hiding in the street.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
Никогда не вяжется. Да, если они противоречат друг другу, это странно. Где мне найти? У себя дома, что ли? Надо домой. Так, это, наверное, все-таки энциклопедия.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one. That is not the one I need.
Так.
That is not the one I
Нет.
need.
Там что-то говорилось ведь. Мне кажется. Портрет Дориана Грея.
That is not the one I need.
Жалко.
That is not the one I need.
Ах, как четко. Это прекрасное старинное украшение является частью коллекции сокровищ эллинизма. 5 голов овнов изображены на браслете, ожерелье и кольце. Каждая выполнена из чистого золота. 5 овнов милетилена были похищены из музея в 1885 году.
Here it is. I need to continue my research in my archives.
Ну, я так и подумала, что надо будет найти в газетках. 85-й.
That is not the one I need.
Ну вот, в общем-то, я, да, поторопилась только. Вчера вечером, во время перевозки из Британского музея на выставку изобразительного искусства в Глазфурге, были похищены сокровища эллинизма. Владелец ломбарда Кеннет Батлер связался с полицией и рассказал о джентльмене, пытавшемся продать ему коллекцию старинных вещей, принесенную в его ломбард на Чёрт-стрит. Полиция вскоре задержала подходящего под описание мужчины. Им оказался профессиональный грабитель Винсент Фолли, как раз предпринявший попытку сбежать из Лондона через порт. Его опознал выживший водитель кэба, в котором перевозили сокровища эллинизма. Винсент Фолли отказался сообщить, где именно он спрятал украденные драгоценности. Ему назначили тюремный срок. Украденное сокровище до сих пор не обнаружено.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Так, ломбард. Валить пока.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly. This is exactly what we need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks. These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Как мало надо было в 1880-90-х годах, чтобы забраться на стену. Ой, да. Тут мы... Так, друзья, я предлагаю здесь закончить, вернуться сейчас на Бейкер-стрит. Может быть, проанализировать что-то и... Нет, по-моему, тут ничего нет у нас. И заканчивать. Да, ничего у нас никак не сделать. Ну-ка. Стоит, ждет. Но я к тебе не пойду. Так. В общем, допроходим мы это преступление, дораскрываем его уже в следующей серии. Пока-пока.